Hello and welcome to Biz Daily. I'm John Jordan. So the big news today is that Amazon has decided to get into the games engine business. Well, technically, let's break down that statement a little bit. It's not Amazon, it's Amazon Web Services. So obviously that's part of Amazon, but there's a particular reason why it's Amazon Web Services getting involved. And while it's getting involved in the game engine business, which is, been around for 20 years or so, I guess the big players now are people like Unity and Unreal. The reason Amazon wants to get involved is not just to give people the technology to make games. Amazon, does care about games now. It obviously has its own app store, it has its own hardware, it has its own game studios. It's been recruiting quite heavily over the last couple of years to get people into its own game studio to make games. So Amazon does a lot of game stuff, but it doesn't really care about game developers in the same way that Unity and Unreal does. So why has Amazon Web Services got involved and is now doing a game engine? So the interesting thing is the game engine itself is kind of licensed kind of thing from Crytek. So it's the CryEngine, which has been around for about 10 years in various forms. Never been as successful as Unreal or Unity. Always been seen as a bit kind of PC kind of focused, because Crytek was more of a kind of PC developer. But console games have been made on it, certainly. Mobile games have been made using the CryEngine as well, although not particularly many. But the reason that Amazon Web Services is getting involved is it's basically providing developers with the CryEngine, which has been modified. It's not just the CryEngine, but it's been kind of like updated and modified. But there's two very key integrations that are also part of the engine kind of package, I guess. One of those is with Amazon Web Services. So they have a nice setup, so you can integrate multiplayer sessions very easily and kind of scale them across Amazon Web Services kind of really easily. It's a service called Amazon Game Lift. So that's like a new kind of a feature which it's providing. So it's not for persistent online games. This is for more kind of I guess we call them well, just kind of multiplayer session games. So kind of anything like a death match, or in a mobile sense a P versus P arena. That would be handled by this new technology, which is kind of using obviously Amazon Web Services and using its technology. The other perhaps more interesting, maybe more radical aspect of the engine is integration with Twitter. Sorry, with Twitch. So Amazon bought Twitch for almost $1 billion, famously, and then hasn't really done very much with it. So Twitch is again more of a PC focused platform, so a lot of the streaming that happens is really kind of PC games. So League of Legends is still the massive game, a few other kind of MOBA type games, and obviously a few shooters, pretty big on Twitch. But there's an integration which is in the game engine, and there's some kind of nice things. So it's a more community based thing, so it lets people who are running Twitch streams invite kind of observers of the stream into the game straight away, so that's quite nice, and a few other kind of community elements that will integrate kind of Twitch as a streaming platform and the game, allow you to kind of bring those two together in quite a seamless way. So that'd be quite interesting. Again, we're not really sure quite how big this will be for mobile. So at the moment the engine, which actually is called Lumberyard, which is maybe a bit of a lumbering name, I don't know why they've called it that in particular, but so it's Amazon Lumberyard. So that is available now. It's free actually, open source as well, which is important for developers who like to see all the kind of code behind the engine. So it's in beta, and PC and console developers can use it now. They said mobile, so it'll be Android and iOS, and obviously Amazon, I suppose, Amazon platforms, and also VR platforms. That will come in a couple of months as well. So quite how widely spread it will be used will be interesting to see. Obviously Amazon are a big company, a big player, but compared to Unity, which is pretty much the technology everyone uses, and if you don't use that, Unreal is obviously well known in the console and PC space. Again, kind of more for action shooter type games. Whether we need another engine, probably, as I say, on just the engine front, we probably don't need another engine. I mean, there are other engines that have kind of smaller audiences, and obviously at some level now there's engines that don't even need coding anymore. things like Game Salad and Buildbox for mobile. You don't need to code; you just drag and drop the stuff at a really bottom end kind of level. So we don't need another engine anymore. There's enough engines out there. But I guess the interesting thing for Amazon will be particularly the Twitch, because Twitch is so important now for certain types of game, certain PC game guys. Twitch integration could be a really big way of kind of building a sustainable community for some of these games that aren't going to be big. They're not going to be League of Legends. You know, they're not going to be even on mobile. Not going to be Clash of Clans. But if you can start building a nice little community and make that very fluid, how you interact with them and get them into the games and get them kind of communicating and interacting with each other, that might be quite important. So we'll look to see how the Amazon Lumberyard gets on. Maybe not expecting kind of massive things from it in the next couple of months, certainly, maybe not this year really. The one interesting thing on that point will be to see what Amazon Game Studios do with it. Obviously they're going to be using it presumably as their main kind of game development tool, and Amazon have said kind of look out for the things that their game studio are going to be using with it. So that'll be interesting to see. But certainly that's the big news of the day. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, that way you won't miss any cool news. I'm sure there'll be lots more tomorrow. Come back then and see what the news is. See you then.